Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with A Trumpet for My People. Today is June 19th, 2018, and I want to share a couple details with you for your consideration that connect with Matthew 24 from verses 20 through 22. Now, we have looked at this in the past, wondering if the time of this understanding would be the winter solstice. But let's look at this passage and compare this to what we are seeing with the summer solstice. It says in Matthew 24, 20 through 22, "Pray that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." Okay, so we have a few details within this. The first thing we see in verse 20, it shows us winter and it shows us the Sabbath day. And then in verse 21, it says, "For then there shall be great tribulation." So we're seeing a connection to the timing of the Great Tribulation connected with a season, connected with winter, connected with the Sabbath day, and connected with, in verse 22, the shortening of the days. So does this line up with the summer solstice? Now let's look at the new moon of June and try to understand, first of all, the Sabbath. Now, according to many, true Sabbath in Israel is based on the new moon, the beginning of the month. So if the new moon in Israel of June, which is the fourth month of Tammuz, was June 14th or June 15th, then we would look at the connection 7 days later as the Sabbath. So from June 14th or 15th, 7 days later would be June 21st or June 22nd. And this would be the 8th day of the month. The 8th day of the month. And this then would this then be the last Sabbath of winter? There are only 2 seasons in Israel. But my question is, does winter go from the winter solstice to the summer solstice? Or do they consider the equinoxes? We know that the year begins at the spring equinox and the springtime is the new year. But one thing is the yearly calendar, and then the other thing is their seasons. So I'm not trying to force anything on this. I'm sharing this for your understanding and for our own investigation. But if there are only 2 seasons in Israel, and summer is beginning on the longest day of the year, is this the beginning of summer then? The summer solstice is the beginning. Is this then the last Sabbath of winter? They did just have a snowstorm in Israel this week. So was winter continuing? Is winter still in effect right now in Israel because of the snowstorm they had this week? So June 14th to June 21st means that June 21st on the summer solstice is the last Sabbath of winter. And then we have what comes into play on the day of the summer solstice. Because the summer solstice is the longest day of the year, then we have the shortening of the days. From the summer solstice, the days are shortened. So if we look at this passage, pray that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time, no, nor ever shall be, unless those days should be shortened. There should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So we see on June 21st, it may be the last Sabbath of winter, based on the new moon on June 14th, bringing us to the 8th day of the month of Tammuz, which would be Sabbath in Israel, true Sabbath based on the moon, based on the new moon of the beginning of the month. And this is the big difference between the Gregorian calendar and the Hebrew calendar, and it's also a big difference between the way Israel really does things today and maybe the way things should be done or have been done in biblical times, following the calendar based on the new moon each month. And that we know that Israel doesn't follow that today. Basically, nowhere in the world is following the new moon the way many people think that they should be following the new moon and the calendar each month. But here we have in this passage, all of this is fulfilled then on June 21st. The last Sabbath in winter, the shortening of the days, and if this is the day of the rapture, then this is why it is said this way in verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation. I do find it quite interesting that exactly on the summer solstice, June 21st and June 22nd, that is where these verses are within the chapter, Matthew chapter 24, verses 21 and 22. June 21st and June 22nd, the last Sabbath in winter, great tribulation, and the shortening of the days. It's been quite interesting as we've been looking at this. There are many details. I shared about the birthday of Barack Obama and how it's connected to June 21st based on the 8th day of the 4th month, and then it's month 6 and the 21st day. And if you say that in other places, instead of 6/21, it's 21/6, 2/16. And then it's the 8th day of the 4th month. And if you say that the other way, then instead of 4/8, it's 8/4. So on June 21st, you have 8/4-1/6, which is the exact birthday of Barack Obama from August 4th, the 216th day of the year. so many things we are watching right now. And I don't want to be too long. I just wanted to share this information with you for your consideration. But the Lord is definitely leading us. Matthew chapter 24, many people do not see the rapture in Matthew chapter 24. They think we are being led to what is just the second coming. But when it says there will be great tribulation, then that is the place where the rapture is going to happen. We're not going to see the wrath. Those who are the elect of God, the wise virgins, those whose names are written in the book will not see the wrath. Those who have faithfully guarded the word of his patience will be delivered from the wrath to come. So, this understanding that the Lord has given to me has opened up so many revelations. And this is another amazing revelation, and it looks like June 21st looks like a Bible lock to me. I pray you're blessed today. This is Steve Fletcher with the trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.